Story 1. I'd been traveling for work for the past 3 days, hitting client meetings in Chicago, Denver, and finally wrapping up in Phoenix. My flight back home had been delayed twice due to weather, and by the time I landed at the airport, it was nearly midnight. I was exhausted, my phone battery was at 15%, and all I wanted was to get home to my apartment and sleep in my own bed. The terminal was mostly empty, except for a few late arrivals like myself. I made my way to the rideshare pickup area, pulling my small suitcase behind me. I'd already requested my ride while waiting at the gate, a simple trip home that should take about 20 minutes. I stood at the designated pickup spot, checking my phone every few seconds for updates. The app showed my driver was 2 minutes away. His name was Marcus, and he was driving a gray sedan. After a few minutes, I saw a gray car pull up to the curb. I double-checked my phone, the license plate matched. Perfect timing. I started walking toward the vehicle when suddenly a woman appeared from seemingly nowhere and yanked open the passenger door. She was probably in her 50s, wearing an expensive-looking coat and carrying multiple shopping bags. Without any hesitation, she threw her bags into the car and climbed into the front seat. Excuse me, I think there's been a mistake. That's my ride. Karen, no, it's not. I ordered this car first. I'm sorry, but I requested this ride about 10 minutes ago. The app shows this is my driver. I held up my phone, showing her the screen with Marcus's information and the car details. She barely glanced at it. Karen, I don't care what your phone says. I've been waiting here longer than you have, so this ride is mine. The driver, Marcus, looked confused and slightly uncomfortable. He was an older gentleman who seemed like he just wanted to do his job without any drama. Marcus, folks, let me check my app to see who I'm supposed to pick up. He pulled out his phone and looked at the screen. Marcus, I'm here for a pickup. The name on my app shows I'm picking up someone else, not you, ma'am. He looked at the woman in his front seat. She crossed her arms defiantly. Karen, well, your app is wrong. I called for a ride first. Ma'am, that's not how rideshare apps work. You can't just claim someone else's ride. Karen, I can do whatever I want. I'm a paying customer, and I need to get home. Marcus, ma'am, I really need you to get out of my car. My app clearly shows I'm supposed to pick up this other passenger. Karen, I'm not getting out. Drive me home now, or I'll give you a 1-star rating. I couldn't believe what I was hearing. This woman was literally trying to steal my ride right in front of me. I pulled out my phone and started recording, figuring I might need evidence of this bizarre situation. Ma'am, I'm recording this. You're essentially stealing my ride. Karen, you can't record me without my permission. Actually, we're in a public place, so I can. And I'm documenting the fact that you're taking a ride that doesn't belong to you. Karen, stop recording me right now. She turned to Marcus, who looked increasingly uncomfortable with the situation. Karen, are you going to let him harass me like this? Marcus, sir, I need to see your phone to confirm you're my passenger. I showed him my phone with the ride details, his name, and his license plate number. Everything matched perfectly. Marcus, yeah, you're definitely my passenger. Ma'am, I'm sorry, but you need to get out of my car. Karen, I'm not going anywhere. I told you I ordered this ride first. Marcus, ma'am, that's not how it works. The app assigns rides to specific drivers for specific passengers. I don't choose who to pick up. Karen, then cancel his ride and take me instead. That's not how any of this works. You need to request your own ride. Karen, I shouldn't have to wait. I'm more important than you are. The audacity of this statement was incredible. By this point, other travelers were starting to notice the commotion. A few people had stopped to watch, and I could see some of them pulling out their phones as well. Marcus, ma'am, if you don't get out of my car, I'm going to have to call airport security. Karen, fine, call them. They'll side with me once they understand the situation. Marcus, what situation? That you got into a car that wasn't ordered for you. Karen, that I was here first, and this man is trying to steal my ride. Me, your ride? You just admitted you didn't even order this car. Karen, I ordered a ride. This is a ride. Therefore, it's mine. Her logic was baffling. Marcus looked at me apologetically. Marcus, I'm really sorry about this, man. In 10 years of driving, I've never had anything like this happen. Me, it's not your fault. Some people just think the rules don't apply to them. Marcus had clearly had enough. He pulled out his phone and called airport security. Within a few minutes, 2 airport security officers arrived. They looked tired too. It had been a long day for everyone. Security officer, what seems to be the problem here? Marcus, this woman got into my car, but she's not the passenger I'm supposed to pick up. She's refusing to get out. Security officer, ma'am, can you show me your ride confirmation? Karen, I don't need to show you anything. I was here first. Me, officer, here's my phone showing that I requested this ride and this driver was assigned to me. I showed him my screen with all the ride details. The officer looked it over and nodded. Security officer, ma'am, this ride belongs to this gentleman. You need to exit the vehicle immediately. Karen, I'm not getting out. This is discrimination. Security officer, ma'am, you're trespassing in this vehicle. Last warning. Karen, fine, but I'm reporting all of you to your supervisors. She finally got out of the car, grabbing her shopping bags dramatically. As she slammed the door, she turned to me. Karen, I hope you're happy. You've ruined my entire night. Me, I didn't ruin anything. You tried to steal my ride. Karen, I didn't steal anything. I was just trying to get home. I finally got into the car, putting my suitcase in the back seat. Through the window, I could see Karen still arguing with the security officers. Marcus, man, I'm so sorry about all that. I've never had anything like this happen before. Me, it's not your fault. You handled it perfectly. When I got home, I immediately opened the app and filed a detailed report about the incident. I uploaded the video I had recorded and explained exactly what had happened. The next day, I received a message from the rideshare company thanking me for my report and informing me that they were taking appropriate action. They also gave me a credit for my ride as an apology for the inconvenience. About a week later, I was curious about what had happened to Karen, so I tried requesting a ride from the same area. Marcus happened to be the driver who accepted my request again. Marcus, hey, it's you. How's it going? Me, good. Any more crazy passengers lately? Marcus, actually, funny you should ask. I heard through the driver network that woman from last week got permanently banned from the platform. Me, really? Marcus, yeah, apparently she tried the same thing with 2 other drivers that same night. The company reviewed all the reports and video evidence and decided she was too much of a liability. Me, wow. I guess she never learned that you can't just take whatever you want. Marcus, some people never learn. But hey, at least now other drivers won't have to deal with her. The irony wasn't lost on me. In her desperate attempt to avoid waiting for a ride, she had ensured that she would never be able to use that rideshare service again. Story 2. I've been doing yoga for about 2 years now, ever since my doctor recommended it for my chronic back pain. The community center offers outdoor classes in the park during summer months, and it's become my favorite part of the week. It's peaceful, affordable, and our instructor Sarah creates such a welcoming environment. I started attending these classes after a particularly stressful period when my husband was deployed overseas for 6 months. I was struggling to manage everything alone while working full-time and raising 2 young kids. The yoga classes became my sanctuary, the 1 hour each week where I could actually breathe and focus on myself. The classes are held every Saturday morning at 9 in the park's main field. There's usually about 20 people who show up regularly, and we've all gotten to know each other pretty well. The park district has clear rules posted everywhere: no phones during session, bring your own mat and water, and pets aren't allowed unless they're service animals. 3 weeks ago, everything changed when Karen showed up. I'd never seen her before, but she arrived about 10 minutes late carrying a yoga mat and dragging a large, energetic German shepherd behind her. The dog wasn't on a leash, just wearing a collar, and it was clearly excited to be around so many people. Sarah was in the middle of leading us through our warm-up poses when Karen and her dog arrived. "Sarah, good morning. Welcome to the class. I'm just going to need you to take your dog outside the class area since we have a no pets policy." Karen, "Oh, he's fine. He's very well behaved, and I can't leave him in the car." Sarah, "I understand, but for everyone's safety and to minimize distractions, we ask that pets stay outside the designated class space." Karen, "He's practically a therapy dog. He helps with my anxiety. I'm sure no one minds." I could see Sarah was trying to be diplomatic, but several of us were already exchanging worried glances. The dog was panting heavily, sniffing around everyone's mats, and clearly had no training whatsoever. "Sarah, if he's a registered service animal, that's different. But otherwise, I really need to ask you to move him away from the class." Karen, "I don't see what the big deal is. It's a public park." She just rolled out her mat right in the middle of our circle, and her dog immediately started wandering around, tail wagging and nose investigating everything. Sarah looked uncomfortable but decided to continue the class rather than create a bigger scene. We were only about 15 minutes into the session when the first incident happened. We were doing downward dog pose, and Karen's dog apparently thought we were all playing some kind of game. He started jumping on people's backs, licking faces, and generally treating the whole thing like an invitation to play. Woman next to me, "Excuse me, could you please control your dog?" Karen, "He's just being friendly. Dogs can sense positive energy." The dog had moved on to sniffing and pawing at people's water bottles, which were lined up along the edge of our mats. Within minutes, he'd knocked over at least 6 bottles, soaking several people's belongings. "Sarah, I'm really sorry, but I'm going to have to insist that your dog be removed from the class area." Karen, "This is discrimination. I have just as much right to be here as anyone else." Sarah, "You're absolutely welcome to stay, but your dog is disrupting the class and making other participants uncomfortable." Karen, "If people are uncomfortable around animals, maybe they shouldn't be doing yoga in a public park." At this point, I could see that Sarah was getting frustrated, but she was trying to handle it professionally. The rest of us were just trying to continue our practice and ignore the chaos, but it was impossible. The dog was now actively investigating people's mats, walking across them with muddy paws and leaving dirt everywhere. We moved into a seated meditation pose, and I thought maybe things would calm down. That's when the second incident happened. Karen's dog decided that the quiet moment was the perfect time to grab the corner of someone's mat and start chewing on it. Woman with chewed mat, "Hey, that's my mat." Karen, "Dogs explore with their mouths. It's natural behavior." Woman with chewed mat, "Natural or not, that mat cost me $40, and now there's a hole in it." Karen, "I'm sure a little chew mark won't hurt anything. You can probably just tape it." The woman looked absolutely stunned. Her mat was clearly damaged, and Karen was acting like it was no big deal. But somehow, it was about to get worse. We were transitioning into our final relaxation pose when disaster struck. Karen's dog, who had been getting increasingly restless, suddenly lifted his leg and peed right in the middle of the class circle. The stream of urine flowed directly onto 2 people's mats and created a puddle that several of us had to quickly move to avoid. Sarah, "Okay, that's it. I'm sorry, but you and your dog need to leave immediately." Karen, "Dogs have to go to the bathroom. It's a natural bodily function." Sarah, "Not in the middle of a yoga class. This is completely unacceptable." Karen, "You're being totally unreasonable. Accidents happen." Man who got peed on, an accident. Your dog isn't house-trained, and you brought him to a public class anyway. Karen, "He's usually fine. He must be stressed by all the negative energy in this group." I couldn't believe what I was hearing. She was actually blaming us for her dog's behavior. The man whose mat had been peed on was trying to clean it up with paper towels, looking disgusted and frustrated. Sarah, I'm going to have to ask you to leave now. This class is over for today because of the health hazard. Karen, fine. I didn't want to be around all this negativity anyway. Come on, boy. She packed up her mat and stormed off with her dog, leaving the rest of us to deal with the mess. The class was ruined, 2 people's mats were damaged, and everyone was upset. After she left, we all helped clean up the area and sanitize where the dog had urinated. Sarah was apologetic and clearly shaken by the whole experience. Sarah, I'm so sorry about this. In 5 years of teaching, I've never had anything like this happen. Me, it's not your fault. You handled it as well as you could. Sarah, I'm going to have to report this to the park district. They need to know what happened. Several of us offered to provide statements about what we'd witnessed. The following Monday, I called the park district office to follow up. The woman I spoke with, Jennifer, was very professional and took my accounts seriously. Jennifer, we've actually received multiple complaints about this incident. The instructor filed a report, and 3 other participants have called in as well. Me, what happens now? Jennifer, we're conducting a full investigation. Bringing an untrained animal to a public program, allowing it to damage property, and creating a health hazard are all serious violations of our policies. 2 days later, Sarah called me with an update. Sarah, good news. Karen has been banned from all park district programs for a full year. Me, really? Sarah, the park district reviewed the incident and determined that her behavior created a safety hazard and violated multiple policies. She's not allowed to participate in any programs or events until next summer. Me, what about the people whose mats were damaged? Sarah, the park district is covering the cost of replacing them. When I showed up to class the following Saturday, the atmosphere was completely different. Everyone was relaxed and happy again. We were able to actually focus on our practice without worrying about what chaos might erupt next. Our yoga class returned to normal after that. The sense of community became even stronger because we'd all been through something ridiculous together. Sometimes standing up to entitled behavior is the only way to protect the things that matter to us. Story 3. I never thought I'd witness someone demanding a steak at a vegan restaurant, but working in the food service industry for 15 years has taught me that people can surprise you in the worst ways possible. I'm the owner of a small vegan restaurant called Green Garden Bistro. We opened 3 years ago in a trendy part of downtown, and it's been my dream project since I went vegan 8 years ago. The journey started when my doctor told me my cholesterol was dangerously high and I needed to make serious dietary changes. What began as a health decision became a complete lifestyle change when I learned more about animal welfare and environmental impact. Opening the restaurant wasn't easy. I spent 2 years saving money from my job as a line cook, took out a small business loan, and convinced my wife to let me use our savings. We found a perfect little corner spot with big windows and exposed brick walls. The concept was simple: fresh, locally sourced plant-based meals that even meat eaters would enjoy. We specialized in comfort food with a vegan twist, things like cashew mac and cheese, mushroom walnut bolognese, and jackfruit pulled pork sandwiches. Our menu clearly states 100% plant-based at the top in large letters, and we have a small sign by the door that says, "Vegan restaurant, all menu items are plant-based." Business had been steady. We attracted health-conscious locals, curious omnivores, and a solid base of vegans from the surrounding area. The incident happened on a busy Saturday afternoon. We were packed with the usual weekend crowd when my server came back looking flustered. "Server, there's a customer at table 7 who wants to speak with the manager. She seems pretty upset about something." Me, what's the problem? Server, she's demanding that we make her a real steak. When I explained that we're a vegan restaurant, she got really angry and said I was being discriminatory. I figured there must be some misunderstanding. I walked over to her table with a friendly smile, ready to help clarify the situation. The woman was sitting alone, arms crossed, with a deep scowl on her face. She looked like she was in her mid-40s, wearing an expensive-looking jacket. Her whole demeanor screamed entitlement. Me, hi there, I'm the owner. I understand there might be some confusion about our menu. Karen, finally, someone in charge. I want a real steak dinner ribeye, medium rare, with real mashed potatoes made with real butter and real cream. Me, I'm sorry, but we're a vegan restaurant. All of our dishes are plant-based. We don't serve any animal products. Karen, that's ridiculous. Every restaurant serves steak. I don't care about your vegan nonsense, I want real food. Me, I understand that might be disappointing, but our entire concept is plant-based cuisine. We have some really delicious options that might surprise you, like our mushroom and walnut bolognese or our jackfruit sandwich. Karen, I don't want fake meat. I want a real steak from a real cow. This is discrimination against people who eat normal food. I couldn't believe what I was hearing. She was sitting in a restaurant that clearly advertised itself as vegan, demanding that we completely change our entire business model for her personal preferences. Me, ma'am, this isn't discrimination. We're a specialized restaurant, just like how a steakhouse specializes in meat or a seafood restaurant specializes in fish. We simply don't have the ingredients or equipment to prepare meat dishes. Karen, well then get them. I'm a paying customer and I demand proper service. Me, I'm afraid that's not possible. Our entire kitchen is set up for plant-based cooking. We don't have meat, dairy, or any animal products in our facility. Karen, this is outrageous. I've never heard of such poor customer service. In my day, restaurants would do anything to make the customer happy. Other diners were starting to stare. I could see a young couple at the next table looking uncomfortable, and several people were shaking their heads in disbelief. Me, I really do want to help you have a good dining experience. Would you like to try our house special? It's a really flavorful dish that even meat eaters love. Karen, I don't want your fake food. I want real food cooked by real chefs. This whole vegan thing is just a scam to charge people more money for vegetables. Me, I assure you, our chefs are professionally trained and our food is made with high-quality ingredients. But if you're not interested in plant-based cuisine, I completely understand. Karen, fine. If you won't make me a proper meal, then I demand to speak to your corporate headquarters. What's your parent company? Me, ma'am. This is an independent restaurant. I'm the owner, and there's no corporate office. Karen, well then I'm calling the Better Business Bureau and the Health Department. This is discrimination against meat eaters, and I won't stand for it. At this point, I realized there was no reasoning with her. She was completely convinced that a vegan restaurant refusing to serve meat was somehow a violation of her rights. I decided to try a different approach. Me, you know what? I think I have a solution that might work for everyone. I walked over to our host stand where we kept takeout menus from nearby restaurants. We had a good relationship with the businesses in our area, and sometimes customers would ask for recommendations. I grabbed a menu from Tony's Steakhouse, which was just 2 blocks away. I returned to her table and placed the menu in front of her with a smile. Me, Tony's Steakhouse is right down the street. They have excellent steaks, and they're open right now. Their ribeye is supposed to be fantastic. Karen, what is this supposed to mean? Me, well, since you're looking for a steak dinner, and we're a vegan restaurant, this seems like the perfect solution. They specialize in exactly what you're looking for. Karen, are you kicking me out? Me, not at all. You're welcome to stay and order from our menu. But if you specifically want a steak, Tony's is definitely your best bet. She stared at the menu for a moment, then looked back at me with pure outrage. Karen, this is insulting. I shouldn't have to go to another restaurant. You should be able to serve normal food. Me, I understand your frustration, but asking a vegan restaurant to serve meat is like going to a pizza place and demanding they make you sushi. It's just not what we do. Karen, that's completely different. because pizza places are normal. This vegan stuff is just a fad. Several other customers were now openly watching our conversation. I noticed a woman at a corner table had her phone out, probably recording the interaction. Me, ma'am, I've been as helpful as I can be. You have 3 options. You can order something from our plant-based menu. You can go to Tony's Steakhouse for the steak dinner you want. Or you can leave. But we're not going to start serving meat. Karen, this is the worst customer service I've ever experienced. I'm going to make sure everyone knows how terrible this place is. Me, that's certainly you're right. But I should mention that all of our online reviews clearly indicate that we're a vegan restaurant. And most of our customers come here specifically because we don't serve animal products. Karen, you haven't heard the last of this. I'm calling the news stations. This is discrimination and poor business practices. She grabbed the steakhouse menu and crumpled it into a ball, throwing it on the floor. Then she stood up dramatically and pointed at me. Karen, mark my words, normal people won't stand for this. Me, I hope you have a better experience at Tony's. She stormed out, muttering loudly about fake food and discrimination against normal people. The entire restaurant fell silent for a moment. Then several customers started clapping. Regular customer, I can't believe she demanded you serve meat at a vegan restaurant. Me, first time for everything, I suppose. Young woman, that was handled perfectly. I would have lost my temper halfway through that conversation. About an hour later, my server came up to me grinning. Server, you're not going to believe this, but that woman just walked past our window carrying a takeout bag from Tony's Steakhouse. Me, really? Server, yep. She looked pretty happy too. I guess she got her steak after all. I couldn't help but laugh. Despite all her outrage about discrimination and poor service, she'd ended up doing exactly what I'd suggested, getting her steak from a steakhouse. The incident became a bit of a local legend, and Tony's owner even stopped by to thank me for the referral. Sometimes the best way to handle unreasonable demands is with simple, practical solutions. Story 4. I've been working in marketing for about 2 years now, ever since I graduated with my communications degree. The job market was tough when I finished college, and I had to take a lower-level position than I wanted just to get my foot in the door. My student loans weren't going to pay themselves, and my parents had already helped me enough through school. The company I work for does digital marketing campaigns for small businesses. My supervisor had been hinting that there might be a promotion opportunity coming up, which would mean better pay and more interesting assignments. That's when this huge presentation came up. Our biggest client was looking to rebrand completely, and they wanted a full campaign proposal. My supervisor assigned me to lead the project, which was a big deal for someone at my level. I'd been working on it for weeks, staying late every night to perfect the strategy and put together a killer presentation. I was collaborating with a few coworkers, including this woman who'd been at the company for about 5 years. She was technically senior to me, but she'd never been given a project this big to lead. From day one, she seemed annoyed that I was running the show. Karen, I think you're overcomplicating this. The client just wants something simple. Me, I understand your concern, but they specifically asked for innovative approaches. That's why they chose our agency. Karen, well, I've been here longer. I know what works. I tried to stay professional. I kept all our files in a shared folder so everyone could access the latest versions and contribute their parts. The presentation was scheduled for Friday morning. Thursday night, I was doing final touches when I noticed something weird. Some of my files were missing from the shared folder. Not just missing, completely deleted. I called my coworker who was helping with the graphics. Me, hey, did you move any files around? I can't find the main presentation deck. Coworker, no, I haven't touched anything since this afternoon. Everything was there when I left. I spent the next 3 hours frantically trying to recover files from my email attachments and personal backup drive. Thankfully, I'm paranoid about losing work, so I had most of it saved elsewhere. But some of the collaborative elements were gone, and I had to recreate several slides from scratch. Friday morning came, and I was exhausted but ready. The whole team gathered in the conference room with the client. That's when Karen made her move. Karen, I'm so sorry everyone, but we've had some technical difficulties with the presentation. It seems like there were some issues with file management. She looked directly at me when she said it. Karen, fortunately, I've been working on a backup version that should cover the main points. My jaw dropped. She pulled up a presentation that was clearly based on my work, but simplified and missing all the innovative elements that made it special. Client, this seems basic. Wasn't there supposed to be a more comprehensive strategy? Karen, well, that was the original plan, but due to the technical issues, we had to scale back. I did my best to salvage what I could. I was sitting there stunned. She was literally stealing credit for my work while simultaneously sabotaging it. Me, actually, I have the full presentation right here. I was able to recover most of the files. Karen, I don't think that's wise. We don't want to present something that might have technical problems. Supervisor, let's see what you've got. I pulled up my presentation, and you could see the difference immediately. The client's eyes lit up as I went through the comprehensive strategy and detailed implementation plan. Client, this is exactly what we were hoping for. This is brilliant work. Karen's face was getting redder by the minute. Karen, I helped develop a lot of these concepts. This was really a team effort. After the client left, thrilled with the presentation, my supervisor pulled me aside. Supervisor, great work on that presentation. I'm impressed with how you handled the technical issues. Me, actually, I'm not sure those were technical issues. Some files were deliberately deleted last night. Supervisor, that's a serious accusation. Are you sure? Me, I'm sure the files were there Thursday afternoon and gone by evening. The IT department should be able to check the activity logs. An hour later, our guy was at my desk. IT guy, I pulled the logs from your shared folder. Someone accessed it at 8:47 p.m. last night and deleted multiple files. The user account was hers. He nodded toward Karen's desk. IT guy, she deleted 17 files and then cleared the recycle bin. My supervisor called an emergency team meeting. Everyone gathered in the conference room, including Karen, who seemed to think this was about celebrating the successful presentation. Supervisor, I've asked it to investigate the technical issues from last night. It turns out they weren't technical issues at all. Karen's face went pale. IT guy, our logs show that files were deliberately deleted from the shared project folder at 8:47 p.m. The deletion was done from Karen's user account. Supervisor, Karen, do you have an explanation for this? Karen, I was just trying to clean up some duplicate files. I didn't realize. IT guy, these weren't duplicates. You deleted the main presentation file, the strategy document, and 15 supporting files. Then you emptied the recycle bin. Karen, it was an accident. I was trying to help organize things. IT guy, actually, the timestamps show you created that backup presentation at 6:30 p.m. yesterday, 3 hours before you deleted the original files. The room went dead silent. Karen had been caught red-handed. Supervisor, Karen, you deliberately sabotaged a colleague's work and then tried to take credit for it. This is grounds for immediate termination. Karen, you can't fire me. I've been here for 5 years. I have seniority. Supervisor, seniority doesn't give you the right to sabotage projects and steal credit. Pack up your desk. Security will escort you out. Karen, this is discrimination. I'm calling a lawyer. Supervisor, you're welcome to call whoever you want. We have digital evidence of everything you did. Watching Karen pack up her stuff while the whole team stared was probably the most satisfying thing I'd ever seen at work. She kept muttering about how unfair it all was, but nobody was buying it. After she left, my supervisor called me into his office. Supervisor, I owe you an apology. You handled this situation with complete professionalism, and your work on that presentation was outstanding. Me, thank you. I just wanted to do a good job. Supervisor, well, you did. In fact, I'd like to offer you a promotion. Senior Marketing Specialist, with a 20% raise. The client called that afternoon to officially approve the campaign and requested that I personally oversee the implementation. The whole thing taught me that sometimes the best way to deal with entitled people is to just let them dig their own grave.